We would like to wait for more participants before we start. So we'll start by 3:05, just to give room for other participants to join in. Please indulge us. Thank you very much.
That's okay.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome once again to Just kindly give me a minute, please. Thank you. I'm really sorry for the delay. Good afternoon, everyone. So we'll start the meeting proper now. You are all welcome once again, and we really appreciate you taking out time to attend this webinar. We'll start by introducing the firm once again. Sunesis DLP is a dynamic full-service law firm with offices in Lagos, Nigeria. Our dedicated team of seasoned legal practitioners offer comprehensive legal solutions across various practice areas, with a particular focus on dispute resolution and corporate commercial law. We are committed to delivering tailored strategic counsel to both corporate and individual clients, ensuring excellence, integrity, and transparency in all our services. Our mission is to provide efficient and effective legal solutions, evolving into a formidable legal institution with global recognition and relevance. Sunesis DLP is the host for the law practice series that we're having today, the 4th episode, which is our part 6, part 2. The law practice series by Sunesis DLP is an engaging webinar series designed to provide practical insight into diverse career paths and essential elements of law practice. This initiative offers aspiring and seasoned practitioners a platform to explore the realities of various legal fields, gain actionable knowledge, and navigate the complexity of the profession with confidence. The host for today, although we know it to be Sunesis DLP, the humans behind Sunesis DLP are Mrs. Uchenna Ogunedo Akingbade and Mrs. Oluwatoyin Asada. They are the partners of the firm. The firm is the one hosting the series that we have today. Well, I'm going to introduce Madam Oluwatoyin Asada first. Oluwatoyin Asada Odupe is a lawyer, speaker, and author. She's the managing partner at Sunesis DLP, a graduate of the University of Lagos and the Nigerian Law School. She began her career as a legal assistant at the High Court of Justice, Ibadan. During her NYSC, she later worked as an associate at Kayode Oduba & Co. before founding Sunesis Legal Practitioners, which merged in 2023 to form Sunesis DLP. A member of ICSAN, she has expertise in business law, corporate transactions, dispute resolution, intellectual property, and company secretarial services. She's also the author of Beyond Handshakes, Turning Your Contacts into Gold. You should get that book. It's very good for you if you are seeking to look into networking. Outside work, she enjoys reading, writing, movies, and quality time with loved ones. She's happily married with 2 children. Mrs. Uchenna Ogunedo Akingbade is a seasoned legal practitioner and a founding partner of the law firm Sunesis DLP, with experience in dispute resolution, commercial, and real estate law. Uchenna sits on the boards of several private companies and NGOs. She's a notary public of Nigeria with an LLM from the University of Birmingham and an LLB from the University of Jos. She's a member of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators UK, a member of the Association of Professional Negotiators and Mediators, and an associate member of the Business Recovery and Insolvency Practitioners Association of Nigeria, BRIPAN. Beyond law, Uchenna is a skilled project manager with years of experience managing telecom establishments all over Nigeria. She's passionate about nation building and criminal justice reform, actively providing pro bono legal services to indigent accused persons and advocating for inmate welfare and rehabilitation. She's a co-opted member of the 2023 to 2025 Executive Committee of the Nigerian Bar Association NBA Lagos branch, where she serves as the liaison officer to the in-house and Government Council Forum. She has also served in serving the branch in many other capacities. Please welcome Mrs. Uchenna Akingbade as she takes over. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Miriam Kudu, for that introduction. So, this is Path to Silk Part 2. We had Part 1 in February, where we had Mr. Tochukwu Onyuke, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, and Mrs. Titi Akinlawon, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, come and speak to us about their various journeys on their path to silk. It was quite an enriching discussion, and we, beyond the criteria, the legal criteria to taking the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria, we're also interested in the stories. Essentially, that's the whole idea behind the Law Practice series, for us to hear about the stories of these distinguished legal practitioners that we are bringing to that we have brought to address us today. We have our panelists are Mr. Bamidele Ibironke, and we also have Mrs. Wendy Kuku, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. I'm going to go over their profiles before we delve into the conversation. Mr. Bamidele Olawoye Ibironke, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, is a seasoned Nigerian legal practitioner and the managing partner of Bamidele Ibironke & Co., a reputable law firm with offices in Lagos and Abuja. He earned his LLB honors from Obafemi Awolowo University in 1993 and was called to the Nigerian bar in 1995. Over the years, Mr. Ibironke has amassed extensive experience across various legal domains, including civil and criminal litigation, commercial law, corporate law, legislative drafting, maritime, and other areas. His legal career includes tenures at several esteemed law firms such as Serena Dokubo & Co. in Port Harcourt, Rhodes and Rhodes under Chief Babashola Rhodes, SAN in Lagos, Debo Akande & Co. under Chief Debo Akande, SAN in Lagos, Chief Babatunde Ibironke, SAN Chambers, and Adelano Legal Practitioners under Chief Adelano, SAN, and Oluyeye Delano, SAN, where he served as head of chambers in their Abuja office. Driven by a commitment to client-focused legal solutions, Mr. Ibironke established Bamidele Ibironke & Co., aiming to deliver competent, innovative, cost-effective, and timely legal services. His dedication to the legal profession was recognized on November 27, 2023, when he was conferred with the prestigious rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria, the highest honor for litigation lawyers in the country. Beyond his legal practice, Mr. Ibironke is a chartered secretary and a member of the Institute of Taxation. He actively participates in various social organizations, including Ikoyi Club, 1938, where he served as the immediate past honorary secretary, Yoruba Tennis Club, and Island Club. He also holds several chieftaincy titles reflecting his engagement with community and cultural affairs. In addition to his professional and social commitments, Mr. Ibironke serves as the chairman of the Ife Law graduates of the combined classes of 1993 and 1994, demonstrating his ongoing dedication to legal education and mentorship. I'm just going to go straight into the profile of our second speaker, just so that we can take it all in at once, and then we'll now move into the discussion proper. Mrs. Wendy Kuku, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, is a distinguished Nigerian legal practitioner, currently serving as an Assistant Director of the Litigation and Prosecution Department at the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Please, before I proceed, I want to be sure you can all hear me. Kindly give me an indication in the comment section or let me know that you can hear me. Okay, you can hear me, so I'll go ahead. I'll just take that again. Okay, thank you, loud and clear, thank you. I'll take that again. Mrs. Kuku, SAN, is an Assistant Director of the Litigation and Prosecution Department at the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. With over a decade of service at INEC, she has held various significant roles, including Chief Legal Officer and Assistant Chief Legal Officer, contributing to the Commission's legal and prosecutorial functions. Mrs. Kuku has been actively involved in high-profile legal proceedings, notably representing INEC in the 2003 presidential election petition case of Atiku versus INEC, where she was part of the legal team defending the Commission's position. Beyond her official duties, she is a member of the International Federation of Women Lawyers, FIDA, Nigeria, an organization committed to promoting and protecting the rights of women and children. Her involvement in FIDA underscores her dedication to legal advocacy and social justice. Mrs. Kuku's professional credentials include the Bachelor of Law, LLB, and the Barrister of Law, and she's an accredited associate of the Chartered Institute of Arbitrators, reflecting her extensive legal expertise and commitment to alternative dispute resolution. Her career exemplifies a blend of legal proficiency, public service, and a steadfast commitment to upholding the rule of law in Nigeria's electoral processes. Please, in the comment section, give us some emojis to welcome these legal giants that we've brought to address us and tell us about their journeys. Give us some claps. Give us something to show that you're excited to hear from them. I'm not seeing any reactions. Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So I'll take the first half of this. My partner, Oluwatoye Asada, will take over the second half of it, and then we'll do some Q&A afterwards. Leonard Silk, Mr. Bamidele Ebironke, we're ready for you, sir. Can we see your video? We want to know that you're here
Yes.
and you're as excited as we are to hear from you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So, fun fact. I met Mr. Bamidele Ebironke from the MBA Lagos. It turns out he's my birthday mate. We are both born on November the 10th, and we've been able to form a friendship. And when he told me about his journey to Silk, I was indeed quite intrigued. And I said I had to bring him to come and talk to us so that we can draw from his wealth of experience. So we're so happy to have you, Leonard Silk. Thank you for honoring us. Thank you for coming on board. I know that I've read your brief bio, and I've read a bit about, your legal career, your professional trajectory, but would also want to hear it from you. If you can just briefly tell us how you began your career, what your trajectory has been like. Just give us a brief overview of your professional background and the path that led you to where you are today. So just in summary, so that we can go into the main gist of the matter.
Okay, thank you so much for having me once more.
Thank you,
it's
sir.
It's a privilege being here. I salute my colleagues and my seniors here present on this platform. You have said, by and large, you have read out my profile, but as I've said, let me go back and say why I actually decided to be a lawyer. When I was growing up, the most important person in my family was a lawyer. That was Babatunde Abiodun Ibironke, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. So, but when I got to secondary school, they started sorting out people that would be in science class, art class, and they decided that I should be in a science class. I was not happy about it. I was not given the right to say, okay, I wanted to be a lawyer, then I must be in a art class. They said, you are brilliant, then you must be in the science class. I said, no. But I was in science class in my part 4 until my part 5. So in my part 5, I decided to change to arts against all their advice. So I changed to arts, and to God be the glory, I had distinctions in all my art subjects. So I proceeded to obtain my JAMB form, and I chose IFE as my first, second, and third choices for law. And again, I chose law also for my 3 courses. I didn't bother to choose any other course. I also chose IFE all through. By the grace of God too, I scaled through, and the rest is now history. Immediately after that, after we went to the law school, I was posted to Port Harcourt to serve. I had always wanted to be a litigator, but unfortunately for me, I was posted to NMPC in Port Harcourt. So I was there for 3 months at the legal secretariat there, the company secretary's office. I was doing quite well with him. He liked me and was giving me a lot of assignments, but I was not fulfilled. So I went to him to please reject me after my 3 months of being at the company secretariat. At the company secretariat's office at the NPC. He said I was mad and he was not going to reject me. Well, I had to reject myself because I wanted to be in practice. So I went to Senator Kubanko and I explained to him what happened to me at NMPC, and he said he was going to do something about it. To cut the long story short, I started practicing with Senator Kubo. And for my service here, I started going to Warri, started going out of town as a copper to move contentious applications and the rest. And after my service here, I was to wait. He wanted me to wait, and he actually offered me a car, but I said, let me go back to Lagos. That is my base. He was not happy with me, but at the end of the day, I convinced him that I had to go to Lagos. And Lagos, I came. I was in Lagos. I practiced with Shola Roots SN and Debo Akonde SN, where I would say I learned a lot of things. In Debo Akonde and Co in those days, you dare not come to court late. You dare not come to the office late because it will attract somebody dismissal. Unlike these days now that we get to court before our junior colleagues, it was anathema in those days. It was not possible. You must have been in court and wait for your principal. You will have checked the court record to see that the proof of service in the court file, and to be sure that, you need to know that the court will be sitting, so that the senior advocate will not come to court without any serious business. So those are the kind of things that we met in the legal profession growing up. So I started practicing, just enjoying the work, enjoying the practice. I did not think about being a senior advocate at that point in time. And I thought that just being a senior advocate will come readily at the time you just keep practicing, and people will know you. And at the end of the day, you'll be a senior advocate. So on a particular occasion, I had an intern in 2010, 2011. 2010, he was still interning and told me that, sir, don't you think you should apply for for the rank of a senior advocate? I said, what am I going to do with it right now? I said, let me just finish my practice. Young man, fast forward to about 6-7 years ago, the young man came to me and said, sir, I'm preparing to get sick, and I think you should pay attention to being a senior advocate of Nigeria. I said, okay. And he started following up on me on that. It will interest you that I made sick the same year this gentleman made sick. It was the first in his set. So what am I going to say? What am I saying about that? And not being a good lawyer or being a dedicated lawyer are not enough to make you sick. It must be a deliberate thing that you have to do. You must be deliberate about it. You must say that I want to be a sick. That's why I see a lot of very good lawyers are all around. They're not made sick, not because they're not good, but because they're not pursuing it the way they should pursue it. It's not just that you know that you have to sign your processes. Before now, my colleague in chamber used to sign my processes before I became a senior advocate. So when I wanted to put my cases together, I couldn't find enough cases because they were not signed by me. I was just going to court to do the cross-examinations, to do the arguments, and I would be at the background. So I couldn't get enough cases for my brief. So for my application, so I now had to be signing them, then going to court more, and so that I could be one. So that pretty much that is what I can say on that.
Wow, that is an amazing story, and I know that we have a blend of different demographics of lawyers on the call, and a couple of things stood out for me. Number one, you always knew what you wanted. You knew you wanted to be a litigator, and you went after that. Not everybody is privileged to know what they want at such an early stage. So don't beat yourself up if you don't really know what you want, but knowing what you want is also good. Um, Even when you knew that you needed to come back to Lagos, you did not take, if for want of a better word, the candies that were offered to you in Port Harcourt. You were firm, you had a firm conviction that you needed to be a certain place. So what I would say with regards to that is listen to your inner voice, listen to that conviction that is speaking to you inside. And, the thing that struck me the most from this introduction that you've given is the story of your intern. So, you see, this should speak to, I say this and I say this all the time, when it comes to mentorship, it's not just people that are above us that can mentor us. Our those who are younger than us can mentor us. So it's interesting how you, this intern actually sowed the seed in your heart, and he rode on even years later to give you the nudge that you needed to start putting your documents and what you needed together. That is quite profound, honestly, for me. And this is a call. And really, if this intern didn't have his act together, he wouldn't have been in a position to even advise you. So to the young lawyers on this call, you need to have your acts together. You need to be focused, and if there's no door that you will not be able to walk through, there's nobody that you would not be able to speak to if you have your act together. So that is indeed very profound for me. So you've touched on what motivated my next question, which is what motivated you, or what are the turning points that led you to begin the pursuit of silk. You've touched on that. So I just want you, for the benefit of those who were not at the part one of this series, because I'm trying for us to go more into the stories and less on the requirements, but for the benefit of those who were not here before, can you briefly advise us on what are those requirements? You've touched on it, you've spoken that you need to frank your documents yourself, but what are those requirements that you need to take silk?
Okay. Well, the most important aspect that we all need to pay attention to, that we don't pay attention to, is your integrity. Your integrity in the legal profession is very, very important. Knowing all the laws may not take you there. Your attitude in court, your integrity, the way people perceive you is very, very important. You may have all the qualifications, and you may have a bad review, and that will not make you go further. Generally, you need 20 cases in the High Court. High Court, Federal High Courts, and the equivalent. You need 20 cases. And at the Court of Appeal, you need 5 cases. All of them must be sufficiently conducted by you, because you have to actually mark the areas where your name appeared when you were in court. At the Supreme Court, you either need 3 or 4. 4 in the sense that if you did not start the case from the High Court to the Supreme, and you finish at the Supreme Court, you will need 4. If you ever started in the High Court, you also conducted it at the Court of Appeal and also at the Supreme Court. You only need 3 cases at the Supreme Court. But you agree with me that you have 3 cases at the Supreme Court to start from the High Court, the Court of Appeal, and to start from the High Court, proceed to the Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court is almost an impossibility, unless, of course, you are handling election matters, or you're handling criminal cases. In some cases, you could give it within, and all this must be within 10 years. Once it's after 10 years, it will expire. Then you now have to do other cases to add to them. So it is almost, it's not very likely that you are able to do that in 10 years with one case, especially in civil cases. I know some people have been able to do it. I don't know how to do it. But from my experience, the cases that I started in the High Court when I started practice, I still have some of them at the Supreme Court as we speak. And I'm saying I'm over 30 years at the bar. And there are some cases that have started like 20, 25 years ago, and some of them are still at the Supreme Court. So you actually have to target it. And the best way to do this is to exploit the requirement, which says you must have 3 pro bono cases. So the pro bono cases could actually, are most likely criminal cases. So get to the high court cases, pro bono, and start it in good time. You start it in good time. By the time you are getting orders, they are also progressing from the High Court to the Court of Appeal and to the Supreme Court. That is the only way I think that 10 years could be possible. Otherwise, with civil cases, it is impossible. As I said earlier, with election matters, it is very possible. You can even have it within 2 years. If you are a well sought after lawyer and your firm is very, busy, you could do election matters and have it done with in 2 years. So as I've said, the quality of your law firm is very, very important. You must have a well-equipped law firm, and you must also have at least 5 legal practitioners with you. And you must be paying, you must pay them when definitely, but they will ask for their pay slip and all those. They must be on health insurance. They must be on HMO, and you must also pay their pensions. All those, as little as they are very, very important. Again, your behavior to your colleagues is very, very important. Don't think that because you have been paid well by a client and you have to be rude to your colleagues. No. Among those colleagues that you have done cases with, they are the ones that you are going to ask for reference from. But I think they asked for about 6 references from fellow legal practitioners that have led you in the past or have appeared against you in the cases that you are using for the application for SIC and another. So you have to be professional in dealing with your professional colleagues. If you have been rude to them one way or the other, or you have acted in a professional manner, they will write directly to the Privileges Committee after having been chosen. Because if you're not good, there's no way one of them will not give you a bad review. They'll give a bad review if you're not good. And that can actually stall your dream of being a senior advocate. So it's a total package. As I said, there are little things that you need to have in the office that if you're not careful and you don't have them, your office inspection could turn out to be disastrous for you. Little things like you're safe, having a safe in the office, having the conveniences in the office, the how conducive your environment is. Firefighter, what's it called? Fire extinguisher and all those. You need to have them in place. They're very little, but they're also very big. You need to have like your first aid box. You may think this on an hospital. Why am I having all those? You need to have all those in place. Your filing system and all those must be well. Your environment, as I said, must be top notch.
Most importantly, to go. All those things you put on your bed, back it up. That family room, clear it. That's the most important thing now.
Sorry about that interruption. Madam Yekwazu, kindly mute yourself, ma. Thank you.
So there are other conditions which are contained in the 2022 guidelines for everybody to read, but I've just given you the few of it that I think are necessary. And again, the judges too, you have to pick some judges that you have appeared in and they're in the cases, you're not at liberty to actually choose the judges that you think you are friendly with, because everything will be predicated on the cases you are using for your sake. So you nominate some judges out of the cases that were handled before them, and they will write their independent impression of you to the Privileges Committee. So your candor and the way you present your cases in court will also go a long way. If you're a rude lawyer and you are if you're very rude and you are disrespectful to the judges we're not saying that you should be timid, but you must not be disrespectful. You can still argue your cases without being disrespectful to judges. It's about law. Cite your law, insist on your law, but don't be rude. Because if you are rude to judges, it is very easy to make it impossible for you to ever get there. So the judges will also write about you. I mean, it's not only at the High Court, at the Court of Appeal, and at the Supreme Court. If you have if you have just one decent and a very, bad one for you, you are not going to get to the promised land. The other conditions. Yes.
Thank you so much for that. And you were not here at the last one, but I'm happy that you have even touched on some things that we didn't mention at the last law practice series. So you have spoken about the essentials, which are the cases, your 20 High Court cases, 5 Court of Appeal, 3 or 4 Supreme Court cases. You have spoken to how there are certain categories of cases that can move quicker. And thank God we have Leonard Silk, Wendy Kuko on the ready to take over shortly, so she would speak more to that. And then you've spoken about your law firm and the need to get things in order, because some of us may not be going around and saying, I'm going to take Silk in the next 3 years. What are you doing to take Silk in the next 3 years? You have to be intentional. And you have to present some of these records from 3 years. So are you already paying your pension? What are your staff remuneration looking like? Because you're going to have to submit all that. So what are you doing in terms of being intentional to take Silk? How are you conducting yourself in the courts? How are you conducting yourself with your colleagues? Or are you one of those lawyers that, okay, you're opposing counsel, therefore you are really opposing in real life, therefore you have to oppose the person? How are you conducting yourself with your colleagues on the other side? How are you conducting yourself with the courts? If the court has to write reference for you, what is that court going to say? So you need to look at all these things holistically. Your office is not just to have your office. You must ensure that your environment is conducive, serene. You have everything, even the little things like first aid, like he said, because we have all these situations where people will say, oh, I've tried and tried and tried. They just don't like me. They are witch hunting me. You're just not meeting up with the criteria. That's what it is. And you're probably getting negative feedback and negative reviews and all that. But to save time, so we can go into the next panelists. Leonard Silk, I'll just ask you, the impact, now you've taken Silk, what has the impact of attaining this prestigious rank been on your life, both personally and professionally? Senior Advocate of Nigeria. What is really the impact? What are the pros and cons of holding this rank?
Thank you so much. That's a very big question. I can say that people now respect me more than before, because they believe that you have been validated by the system. That's okay. You're actually good at what you do. Before now, when I'm managing a case, and maybe it's taking some time to get through in court, clients will come to me, Mr. Bironke, we are not debriefing you, but please, can you suggest a senior advocate that will lead you in this matter? Because we want traction, we want speed in this matter. So that has stopped. Because what they needed the senior advocate for is not because that I was incompetent, because they knew that if they go to court, their cases will be called first. That is one thing that I think I've enjoyed tremendously. It's actually the highlight of being a senior advocate. That's because I've always charged well. So as far the financial part of it, I won't say it has improved that much because I've always charged well. So if I now want to charge more than what I was charging before, I'm going to be sending a lot of clients away because I was charging now because we were charging before. So the only thing that has added to me now is that I can actually do about 3 cases in a day. I move from court to court and I get my cases taken out of turn. So it's actually, the judges will say, no, it's only for motions because it's actually not for trial. The judges can decide to not call your case out of turn if what you have before them is a trial or a trials, they don't need to do that. It's only for motions that will be taken out of turn. So you're able to do more. Then the one I would say is negative part of it is the fact that people now expect to pay more. The families expect you to give them more money now. They don't expect you to be complaining that there's no money. Your colleagues in chambers also believe that you're not a senior advocate now. You have to give us more. Anywhere you go to now, they want you to donate generously to whatever they are doing there. So when you pay somebody, say, SN, you can't pay that. That is too small for your rank. So they believe that money will just be coming in immediately. You become a senior advocate of Nigeria. I don't want to believe that. Well, I would say that. It will be better. If you're a diligent one, you surely do better when you attain the sick, but it's not automatic. And I say this all the time. Whatever you were before you became sick is what you are going to leverage on when you make sick. It's not going to change your life radically if you were not a good lawyer before and you attain sick. Whether, I don't know, if you attain sick and you are not at that level that you are trusted clients, they're not going to come when you become sick because it means that you are not doing something right before. Maybe you are very calculative. No, I realize that because it's a criteria-based procedure, some people may not be that top-notch and they will get there because they are smart. They're not just reading. They know the criteria and they're working towards that criteria. So if you are not that successful as a litigator when you are not a senior advocate, there won't be any magic for you when you become a senior advocate. So you'll have noticed that people that are actually in the forefront of legal parties, they have been there before they made sick. And the judges and even their colleagues had seen what they were made of initially before they made sick. So there are not going to be any magic when you become sick. It is you just reaping the rewards of your hard work before you made sick. So those are the
Quite
points.
interesting.
Yes.
Quite interesting. So my final question to you, sir,
And
before we
before I
move
go,
on.
let me say before I go.
Okay.
I'm not trying to disparage anybody, but I can tell you straight away that if anybody makes sick and you are not worthy of that sick one way or the other, you will leave practice very soon because they will call your case first, and in the full glare of everybody, you will be talking rubbish, and you run away
I
because
agree.
your ignorance will not be will be exposed to everybody. Now, as you're sick, then you now need to read more so that you don't want to be disgraced by your colleagues and by everybody in the because a lot is expected from you. They expect you to be an authority in whatever you are saying. And your dressing, your carriage, and everything, they expect you to change. You are supposed to be a role model and not somebody that would mislead the people coming behind you. Thank you.
Interesting. Thank you, sir. So my takeouts from that are, if by some chance you are, you don't necessarily, I will not say you don't meet the criteria, but if by some chance you don't meet, you're not up to the standard that you're supposed to be, and you somehow manage to take the rank, it's going to be tough. So you must invest in yourself. It's not just about getting the cases and, somehow crossing the hurdles and getting there. So you actually have to invest in yourself. You charge well. Like Leonard Silk has said, you have the privilege of being called up first. So you have to prepare more. You have to be more ready. You're a role model. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. So you have more responsibilities from your colleagues, from the profession, from your family. Everyone is looking up to you. So you just have to charge well and, get that money because nobody wants to hear. SAN comes with SAN package. So you have to be ready to deliver. Thank you, sir. So finally, my final question to you before we move on to the next panelist is, how will you say you have leveraged this prestigious rank to make impacts in the legal profession, in the society? Just give us one or two instances where you have said, oh, okay, this rank has come in handy to make impact
Mm.
beyond
Well,
the prestige of the rank,
yeah,
actually utilizing the rank to make significant impact out of the courtroom in other ways.
yes. After I've been sick, I've had to partake in some community development because necessarily they call me now that you are this, you need to give back to your society, your town, and this and that. So I've been called upon to do a lot of things. I mean, a number of things for them by way of contribution and by way of giving lectures on some aspect, some areas of the law. We want to know more about it and that and that. And then since then, I've been mentoring a lot of younger generation on why they should also always do more, and that's the power of extra. I tell them all the time that I've never seen a successful litigator who is not hardworking. The likes of F.R.A. Williams, G.O.K. Ajayi, Debo Akonde, Richard Akinjide, and all those, they were not rushing home when they were in practice. When you start rushing home as a legal practitioner and as a litigator, I'm not sure that you love that profession. You must dream it. You must be dreaming and remember a case. Once you don't have that, then you're not a litigator. When you are not dreaming about your book, when you are somewhere relaxing, when you don't talk about that law that you left in the office, when you don't creep into it and use it, and people know, are you a lawyer? If nobody's going to ask, are you a lawyer? Then you are not actually practicing that profession. They must see it in you, in your language, in your choice of language, and the way you act. So I mentor them and let them see that. It's not, don't say that, oh, how much is he paying me? I can't be. I said, whatever you do for others is what you do for yourself. So I'll be mentoring them in that regard and say that you want to get to this level, what you have to do is just, you have to be hardworking. Don't look at remission now, look at it later. In that time, Debo Akonde used to tell us that we were supposed to be paying him, not the other way around. But this is a change generation, so we pay well these days. Unlike in those days, they were not paying well because they believe that you are actually stealing their knowledge. And that knowledge you are going to use to establish yourself in life. So I teach them to try and look at, acquire more experience and de-emphasize money. I know they have to survive, yes, but de-emphasize money and have knowledge. That knowledge will give you more than money. So I've mentored them in that regard. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Leonard Silk. Mentorship, 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 mentorship. We can't overemphasize the importance of mentorship. And when you attain certain heights in the profession, it's kind of like automatic that, people just listen better to you and they take your counsel, they take your counsel with better strides. And, even in the society, when you speak to people, they are more inclined to listen to you. So thank you for that. We'll come right back to you. My partner, Oluwatoyin Asada, is on now, and she's going to be taking the next segment. Leonard Silk, Wendy Kuku, please, are you on the call? Can we see you, Ma? I just want to say a few words before I yield to my partner, Toyin Asada. Leonard Silk is here. Good afternoon, Ma. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for honoring us. You're muted. Thank you for honoring us. Just to say a few words. We've never met. In fact, I met her on the profile of list of senior advocates that were being sworn in. I'm like, oh my God, who is this? I need to get to know her. And when I now read her profile and I saw that she was a government lawyer, I was even more intrigued. I was even more intrigued by her profile because I have a lot of I'm the liaison officer to the in-house and government council forum. I know a lot of people in government. A lot of them are my friends. And I find it quite intriguing when I see people in government who take the bull by the horns and decide to pursue the highest rank of excellence in that space. So we actually tried to get her for the first law practice series, but we were unable to do that. And we're grateful that she's been able to come on this particular series, because we really want to hear your perspective as, government practitioner. And for those who are in government on this call, we want you to inspire them and for them to know that being in government is not a barrier, it's not a limitation. You can actually do great things while in government. So I'll yield to my partner, Tony Asada. The webinar is supposed to run from 3 to 4:30, so we have about 20 minutes or thereabout, then we move into questions and answers. So I'll yield to my partner, Tony Asada. Thank you for coming, Lynette Silk.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uche. And we want to say a very big thank you to you once again, Mr. Bamidele Ibironke, for such wonderful insights. I love how realistic you were with your answers, the reality, the pros and cons of, being silk. And now I have the pleasure of interviewing a very beautiful, I must say, a very beautiful and well-established female Lynette Silk. And you embody a lot of things that I like. I mean, the executive presence is everywhere and the achievements, holding your own in government. So I'm so excited to be able to speak with you today, Ma. Thank you so much for honoring the invitation and joining us. So let's just set the ball rolling. How did this all begin? I'm sure a lot of us actually like to know, and even the men too. How are you holding your own assistant director, INEC? Hey, of all places, and then still attaining silk. How did it all begin? Would you mind sharing with us, giving us a brief background on how you started your career and how you got to where you are today?
Okay, thank you so much, Sunesis DLP, the team, the whole team. I appreciate you guys for this opportunity to come share on this platform. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, Ma. Go ahead, please.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Okay, just to cut straight to the chase. I started my youth service corps in INEC reluctantly. Coming from a camp or law school, everybody wants high-flying jobs and all that. And for some reason, I was posted to INEC, and I'm like, INEC? I didn't even know that they had a legal department in INEC. But I got to the legal department, but I went with the view of, okay, my whole imagination of looking forward to working after law school. So I already had that, if so to say, private practitioner mindset.
Okay.
Now I went into there, I started my service, and I did my duties. Most people didn't know I was even a corper at that time. Because I did not behave like a corper. The laxist attitude, come in anytime you want, and all of that, no. And I finished, and I passed, and I left. But as God will have it, I got a call asking me to come submit my application letter.
Oh, wow.
And at that time, I wanted to go do my master's. So I was now thinking, so my family said, why don't you just submit your application since they called you? And that was what I did. And then I got the letter, employment letter. And so I was told that it was due to my hard work. So I was recommended for the employment. Who recommended me? I don't know. Till tomorrow. I don't know. So I just got the job, and then I continued as a legal officer. I was employed as a legal officer. And so I started, and at that point in time, I was more into legal drafting. drafting of contracts, memoranda, opinion, legal advice. That's what I was doing. And so at years later, I now entered into litigation proper, because that was when the commission was unbundled. So you had litigation and prosecution. And so I started litigation because I was already grounded in legal drafting and all of that. So I had to veer into litigation and prosecution. And that was where I continued. And here we are now as a senior advocate of Nigeria.
Thank you so much for sharing, ma'am. It's very, very impressive. And it's just a testament to how sometimes destiny, fate, you would just drive you without you realizing it, and to think that that's actually where you started from, and looking at where you are, very, very inspiring, and how you've been able to develop a range of you in terms of building your skills from legal drafting and not being afraid to explore the very interesting waters of litigation as a government officer. So, Ma, we call you Lynette Silk, but we all know the stereotype, even the mental hindrance that some people go through with regards to government workers who are in-house government counsels pursuing silk. So what drove you to go for it, to, apply to, obtain this exalted position? How did it come about, and what was the process?
Okay. I mean, I did not start out wanting to become a silk. I was just doing my job. I am someone who is I like to be thorough in whatever I do, and I'm not somewhat afraid. So when I get cases, when you are assigned, in fact, as a government lawyer, it is even when you are assigned a matter that you can handle it. So if you are not assigned, you are there, year out, you're not assigned, you don't have any case. So whenever I have a case file, I approach it like a regular civil servant. After all, I'm just you're just there. It's not just signing. No, that's why I have been to court most times, and the opposing party calls me and says, "Are you not signing? Why would you file robust responses like this? We don't even expect you to file anything." And then I always tell them, if you don't want us to file anything, why do you make us a party? So I approach it in doing, writing my briefs and my arguments like that of a, in quote, serious private lawyer. And most times it pays off, because that way you veer into research. A lot of it, you do that. And having been able to achieve that. And then I've had also some lawyers, then senior advocates, they tell me, Wendy, you are not supposed to be in government. You should be in the private. Come, leave government and go to private practice. Go to private practice. And I just laugh at it. That's an indication that, okay, I'm doing something. I'm doing something right. Yes. Yes, I'm doing something right. And so I just try as much as possible not to have the approach of the regular civil servant, and just do your job right. Most times in my early years, I used to sleep in the office. And you will be wondering, why is this girl, even though I wasn't married yet, but you say, why is this girl sleeping in the office? But it's because you know that our cases then have timelines. So you have to try and be able to meet up those deadlines so that you don't get caught out. And you don't want a situation where they ask, who is handling this case? Oh, it's Wendy. What happened? You don't know. Before you know, a judgment is entered against you. So those are the main approach I deployed in ensuring that no matter what task I have, even if it's to write an opinion or whatever it is, I give it my all. I do my research before I do that. So that is it. And then having been able to have some cases along the line, and then I said, okay, I know that my predecessors, some of the people have attained the silk. So I just go and I check the requirement. You see, most of the things that always makes us, okay, let me not go there. Let me wait for you to stay there. Let me just wait for you to stay there. But so far, so good.
Because I wanted to know how.
Sorry?
Yes, ma'am. I think that was part of what I was asking, ma. So I think we're already there, because I was asking how, apart from what you shared, ma, also how you're able to take up that challenge of attaining silk as a public officer.
Yes. Yes, like I said, some other of my colleagues in the office had attained the rank. So I was also watching and I was also with them. And most times I accompanied them to court, because I was more junior to them. So when I accompany them to court, I see how they do these things. And then it tells me that, Wendy, you can do this. You can do it. So how do you do that? You just go through the requirements and you will be reading it in line by line, ticking off, and trying to see. So that was what I did. And also with the help of the commissioners also too, I was able to attain the rank.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma. I love
because
how
you know that.
Okay. Go ahead, ma, please. I thought you were done.
Yes, because you know that issue of tax, which is a requirement. As a government lawyer, it is deducted from source.
Yes.
So you have to even show proof and all those things. And most of the things that Leonard Silk and Bamidele mentioned, in fact, even up to COVID-19 processes, precautions, do you have them during your interview? You show them that even up to your first aid kits in the office. So little things like that matter. And then I also realized that it's not just about having for instance, you have a case and you file a preliminary objection and the judgment is delivered. But that matter was not decided on the merits. So it will not count for you. So you have to make sure that whatever judgment you are presenting must have been decided on the merit itself, touching on the merit. That way it will count for you. So those were the things I learned. Like sometimes some of us will say, oh, we filed preliminary objection, this other person filed, and judgment comes out, oh, you think you can rely on that judgment. You shouldn't do that. So let me just let you be and let's continue.
Thank you so much. You've done justice to this. I love the emphasis on just going to the basics, which is what the law, the requirements, and the fact that you have to have a keen eye for details. So you shouldn't take anything for granted, and even understanding what exactly the law requires. So I'm sure a lot of us are learning. It's not enough to just gather judgments. What exactly are those judgments about? Are they on the merits? So this is such a good one because it helps us to put things in proper perspective with regards to this ambition to attain SIC. And I also admire how you have made it clear that it's not you demystified it. It's not an old girls club or old boys club. If you have what it takes, go for it. And also the power of modeling. You saw people that have that have gone ahead of you, they've done it, you've seen their work ethic, and you realize that there's no magic to this thing. I just need to take a step and go through my process. So thank you so much for that, Ma. So I would like to know, you've given us a laudable.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ma. You've given us a wonderful and robust, experience, and it seems nice, it sounds nice, but we all know, there's always, behind every glory, there's a story. So we're sure that there must have been some challenges you faced on your journey, on the way to getting to where you are right now, even from your NYSC days. So would you mind sharing with us some of the unique challenges that you faced? One in joining the public sector and growing through the ranks, and also in attaining SEAL?
Oh, yes. We all know that we are aware of the issues of bureaucracies in government agencies. However, I would say that it's even that important that you have cases and there's no paper. Let us even start from there.
Paper.
There's no paper. They tell
Wow.
you want to print copies, you want to make copies. There's no paper. They tell you commission has run out of paper. Are you going to sit down and be waiting until commission will get you paper? You will go and buy your paper. I will go and buy reams of paper with my money, even photocopy, even to make photocopies. Assuming is a appeal, you have how many respondents? You want to file your brief. You want to serve all of them, and then the Supreme Court justice, the Supreme Court as well. I will take my things to Zone 5, to somewhere we call Zone 5, an area, and print and make copies and pay. That is just for paper. You haven't even talked about you being the one, you have to pay bailiffs for service. And they all these things are not factored in the office. You do this yourself. So all of these things you can say, oh, okay, if you want to also file appellant brief, compiling of records and all these things. If you are waiting for the office, your time will lapse.
Wow.
So before your time lapses, you have to provide the money. You have to source for the funds to do this. So funding is a huge challenge. It's a huge one. And then when you have case assigned out of jurisdiction, out of Abuja, before money will even come for you to go for trouble. So you first of all you have to make arrangements for yourself. And I remember it was even worse off during COVID. You have to go. People were not coming to the office. How do you do all of that? And you still had cases you needed to attend to. You have to bear the brunt. You have to make those sacrifices. And more so, being a woman, you know how it is for men. Men always have their backs. They say, guy, how far? See, I need you to you go and meet another lady, she will just be looking at you like, you can't even, like, now what for you? Why are you stressing yourself? Can't you leave it?
Wow.
Yeah, they'll say, when your own self is too much. Can't you leave it? So you don't want to be hearing such negative vibes. So I would even rather go to a fellow colleague, a male, and say, can you borrow me some money? I won't even tell you what I need to do with it. I tell you, borrow me some money, please. I've put in my paper. When it comes out, I'll pay you, please. And by the grace of God, they always assist, and they do that. And when it comes, you give them immediately. Because if you tell them that, I want to go and do this, some of them say, Wendy, don't worry, just leave it. Let me go. As a guy, yes, as a guy, he will be like, oh, don't worry, I will go. And if he goes, he's going in his name. He's not going in Wendy's name. Judgments will come out. Proceedings will be reading his name, not my name. And I don't know when I will get another case.
Opportunity.
So that one now, I will now lose that case. Just like that. Because I didn't put in more effort or fight the odds. So these are the things that we see, and it is when you allow this to get to you, my dear, you will not even bother. You will not bother.
Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you. In not so many words, key words I'm picking from this answer is, number one, balancing passion, it's enough to just say, have a passion for my work, but demonstrating it actually, because for you to use your own personal funds as a government worker.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that what you've shared has shown a true representation of a heart for true service, because we all know the word on the streets. Government workers don't do anything. They just paint their nails in the office. They don't bother themselves. But you are showing the fact that you can stand out. You can, you can actually do the work that you are being paid for and even go the extra mile if you truly love what you do. And I also love how you've emphasized, even subtly tact, being smart and not giving the credits away for the work they are putting in. So I'm sure we are all taking, robust notes on this. Thank you so much, ma'am. And so I have just 2 more questions to ask.
And one thing I also want to add, payment of bad practicing fee. We know that there's a deadline by the 31st of March, you have to pay.
Yes.
The commission may start deciding, doing your processes. You might have started 1st of January, but they will not finish the processes until April.
Okay.
Would you wait for them? So if you keep waiting for them, you will lose out. And we know that is a primary requirement, consistently as at when due. So that is practicing fee and branch dues. So I just go out, even if I don't have at that point in time, my early years, I look for money, I borrow, and I pay it. So these are the things that we should always put at the back of our minds as government lawyers. I just wanted to put that in.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Another testament to being proactive. No waiting, you could have just said they've not paid, and that would have been a valid excuse. But was that enough? So thank you so much for this. This is really, really helpful. It gives even we in private practice a lot to think about just being proactive and not looking at the excuses, the valid excuses. So my second to last question for you is, how has attaining
network?
Okay, can you hear me, ma? Oh my God. Okay, I think my network is messing up. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay.
We can hear you.
I can hear you now.
Okay. Silk, we can hear you too.
Okay. All right. Thank God. So I was asking Ma about how being a Learned Silk has impacted your work and visibility within the public service. Has it eased some of these challenges? Has it helped you, in your career? Just let us know if things are getting better, basically. Have you been able to make any some of these challenges, and even for yourself, for your own personal benefits? How has it been?
With every sense of humility, it has just I will use the word, it's like an upgrade. So attaining this silk has it's mind-blowing. You are now seen as a VIP. I mean, you're treated with that respect and high regard. As a senior advocate of Nigeria, you are expected to know it all. So that is the expectations from the society. So, however, in my job now, there were before, they can bypass you, but now they cannot bypass you in any way. No matter how trivial issue is, you're called upon. Oh, SAN Wendy Kuku, SAN Kuku, please, this, that, whether it's administrative or outside or representing the commission outside. I mean, you're always called upon now. So you can see now that before that, I will go and buy yourself for myself. But now I can say, you know what? Go and meet the director of this and tell them that Leonard Silk needs these things for work. And it's done.
This just reminds me of when Jesus told disciples, for those of us who are Christians, go and tell them that the master is in need of that. This is
You
so.
know,
If any
even
of us
though
take
I
this
can
decision,
say that
that's all we need.
it's just been 6 months, you
Wow.
know, so gradually, I won't say that I've really started enjoying, maybe like my learner brother Silva Midele, let's say, you know, but we're taking it one step at a time. But so far, so good. So far, so good. It's been okay. It's not been worrisome. No, it's been okay. It's been good, and the path has been quite accommodating, and the dignity to the office is being respected, is being perceived, and thereabout. Yeah.
Wow. Thank you so much, ma. Very, very encouraging for those of us who, just in case any of us are wondering, does it really matter being elected still? Now you know, just in 6 months, look at the change. You know, this is very motivating. It's a motivating factor. And so my final question, ma, would be your charge to government lawyers, public service holders as a whole, and even generally to those of us who are, you know, unsure about aspiring to, you know, becoming an SAN, the Senior Advocate of Nigeria, or just generally in terms of with regards to career growth and what impact you hope to make as now that you are silk in the public service. You don't mind me joining those.
Is it doable? That's
Yes.
fine. Is it doable? Yes, it's doable. It is doable. As long as you are not a, how would I put it now? As long as you're not a one-sided lawyer or thereabouts. What do I mean by that? You just think one-sidedly.
Mm.
It is doable. Be focused. Why do I say so? Don't give them the impression, as a government lawyer, don't give them the impression that, oh, you're lax. No, 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 no. On your dressing, on you, everything about you must be intentional.
Mm.
So when you see a government, when you see me come out, you don't see a government lawyer.
Mm.
You don't. Why? Because I don't want you to attach that to me. Oh, God, this is, even though when I go to court, a lot of people call me, oh, INEC, INEC, INEC. That's what people call me. And I tell them that's not my name. They say, but that's how we know you, you know. So you have to, don't be that type of lawyer that when you are not around, when you're not in the office, your presence is not felt.
Mm.
Even as a government lawyer, don't decide to, because there's nothing happening in the office, you don't go to the office. When there is nothing happening in the office, if I am not in the office, I am in the courtroom, not handling my cases, so watching. I have a notebook. There are some senior lawyers, we look up to them. There are some lines when they are addressing the court, I take it down. I write it, and in brackets, I'll just put, for instance, in bracket, I'll put Fabemi. I will remember that Fabemi used this line to convince the judge, or he used this line to say something that was very interesting. In fact, it was very moving. Spend your time. Have a deep sense of duty to your assignment or task. Whatever task you are given, whatever assignment you are given, put your heart in it, because you don't know who will read that document tomorrow. You don't know where that document will be tomorrow, and you don't know who is watching you. I remember whilst I was applying for this, I was supposed, you know how you are supposed to have Court of Appeal justices. They are supposed to write letters too for you. And you don't know who will write it for you. It is the committee that will decide. They will send your name to any of these justices that you have appeared before. They will be the ones to write your recommendation to them. So how do you do that? Whenever you are before the court, it is not about arguing. It's not about arguing blamelessly or wrong. How do I put it now? Bluntly, aimlessly. Even when the judge is giving you a hint, you just take it. always be courteous. The court likes it when you are always courteous, no matter how highly placed you are. Once you are always courteous and respectful, the court appreciates that. So some people, because I have been and refuse to fit into that description of a civil servant. I always say it, refuse to fit into that description. Just try and make sure that even no matter your attitude, if you don't have a case in court, there's no need jumping to one office or the other. I'm speaking to now because as a civil servant, that's what most of us we do in our spare time. You go from one office to another. If I tell you that there are some offices in INEC I have never been since I was there, you will not believe it. Because I don't have any reason to go there. So all I am saying is, whatever it is, whatever task or case you think is small or you think it's not important, you think no matter what it is, just put your heart in it. Bring out a robust argument because it will help you. I recall one case that I handled when Governor Rocha Sokorocha was refused his certificate of return because INEC refused to issue him with the certificate of return based on the fact that the returning officer made a complaint that the return was made, he was coerced into making it. And Rocha Sokorocha went to court. And we said, based on what the returning officer said, this is why we withheld his certificate of return. But the court ruled against us and said, no, we had no right to withhold his certificate because the law did not provide for that. And that was what led to the inclusion of Section 66 of the Electoral Act, which gives INEC 7 days, the power to review a return within 7 days. So if I had just said that, oh, what is this? We'll just file anything and go that. But it was a battle. And at the end of the day, I learned a lot. The court also learned a lot. And the new law was now given because of that issue. So I think we're running out of time. Let me just let it slide here.
Our final question, and thank you so much. It has been a very insightful session. There are areas that we touched that I didn't even expect. I mean, law reforms.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me, ma? Can we all hear me? Can we all hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma, I can hear you. Uche, can you hear us?
Yes.
Okay. I guess Leonard Silk had some network issues, but this has been such an insightful one. We're so grateful. I didn't even realize even the impacts in terms of law reforms, and just doing your job well. And I believe this charge is not only relevant to public service holders, it's relevant to every one of us, especially the younger lawyers here, to know what to prioritize when it comes to your work ethic and just putting in the work and be sure that excellence will definitely produce, its results. So thank you so much, Leonard Silk, Mrs. Wendy Kuku, even in that absentia. I'm sure she's going to try and log in again for the Q&A session.
She's actually here. She's here.
Okay, I can't seem to find her.
She's here. I can see her.
Yeah, okay, I can see her now. Thank you so much, Mrs. Wendy Kuku, SAN. Thank you so much for your time. And we have a lot to take home and reflect on. We're grateful, man. So Uche, I think I'm handing back over to you for the next session. I think it's Q&A,
Thank you so much for the privilege. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Most welcome.
So our chat box is buzzing with a lot of questions. Oh wow, we have a distinguished personality in the house, Chief Dr. Emeka Obegolu. Can you imagine? We're so honored to have you on our webinar. That's the chairman of AGC Planning Committee. Thank you, sir, for joining. We'll come to you soon and you'll come and share your insights for us on another episode. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, Uche. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
In regards to the distinguished panelists, when the cook was here.
Thank you, Leonard Silk. Appreciate it.
Thank you for joining us, sir.
So to the questions, we have a whole lot of questions, and I will take it from up down. Greetings. Leonard Silk, Bamidele Ibironke, please, are you still on the call, sir?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, sir. So we have a question from Ademayowa Ogumola. She says, what pathways are available for in-house counsel to attain the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria? It appears that this privilege is primarily reserved for those in litigation. What steps, if any, is the Nigerian Bar Association taking to ensure that transactional and corporate lawyers receive comparable recognition for their contributions to the legal profession? If you don't mind, I will, before I yield the floor to our experts in the house, I will speak to this a little bit because we had a program on Saturday, which was the mentorship roundtable and networking session for the in-house and government council forum of NBA Lagos. And we discussed this robustly. And we've come up with a communique which our branch chairman is going to submit to NEC, and we are hoping that we'll be able to advocate and push for some of these reforms from the discussions that we had. There is currently except you're in government, but if you're in the private sector, the private organization, there is currently no formal recognition in terms of rank for SAN, but some of the discussions that we had on Saturday were to the effect that there should be a formal recognition for those in the corporate sector, who are not into litigation. So we have put those recommendations down. And like I said, the branch chairman is going to present this on the floor of NEC, and we hope that that will start a discussion. We hope that we'll be able to push, and we hope that we'll get other recommendations from other branches and give this a serious discussion, and hopefully we'll be able to come up with something to satisfy and to to satisfy our colleagues who are in corporate practice and not in litigation, because in-house, Leonard Silk is in-house, she's in government. So except you're in litigation, for now, there is nothing, but I'll yield to Leonard Silk to speak a little bit on this, and let's see if she can shed more light.
Well, thank you. Thank you once again. Well, my position on this has always been clear. When the rank of the SIG was conceived, it was meant primarily for litigators. From where you look at the way the advocates, it is tied to talking. That, from my own perspective, that's I mean. If you go to K2, you have Queen's Cancer, they have King's Cancer. There are many solicitors there. They don't give them Queen's Cancer. That's the best of my knowledge. They are solicitors. They are good in what they do, and I'm not sure they give their King's Cancer or Queen's Cancer. I think when our colleagues in the corporate setting, they have a lot of other things they do, taxation, appreciation, and all those, and they are given the appropriate title for being whatever they have achieved. It is not for them to be senior advocates of Nigeria. I don't want to mince words in saying that it is for advocates. It is not for everybody. They have an option. They were called to the bar. They can also come out and be senior advocates. Because you realize that in the time past, it was open to professors in school, even to now, but then we were given like 11, 12 every year. At some point in time, they came back and said it should not be, because this was not the original intention. So to make it, maybe to just meet in between, they started giving only one academic. That's one professor, anybody in the academy, just one. It's just to create a balance. It's not that it's, to me, I will not say it's right, because if you look at other criteria they have to follow, they just have to make room for one of them. So that is actually the way it was conceived and not for people that are not in litigation. I know that would not go down with a lot of people, but I will apologize in advance. We don't like what I've said, but I think that was the way it was configured. I noticed, I remember very precisely in 1989, when Babatunde Ibironke said of the law school was made a senior advocate of Nigeria. I think that was the first one, the first or the second one. My recollection is that important. A lot of criticism, came up and they said, this man, yes, we agree, very perfect gentleman, a distinguished lawyer, but he was not in practice, but he was teaching lawyers that were making sick because the sick, they were in practice. And you also see that there are some of our, respected and respectable professors in school, they still practice. They practice and they use that means to actually acquire skill. So the people that are in-house too, where I think the law does not allow them to actually practice, just like the professors would actually do practice. But the Supreme Court has said that where it is not, they cannot be denied fair hearing in court. The only place you can go to is to go to a disciplinary committee and say that this man is not supposed to be being practiced by virtue of IP, but is in practice or ethics. So, but it is what it is. Somebody I would say that it is meant for practitioners. If there are other things the NBA can do to recognize them and give them some other nomenclature, apart from being a senior advocate of Nigeria, I think it's in order. But not, I say, and I say
Yeah,
that
so
all the minute.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And this was kind of what we discussed. What we discussed on Saturday was that it's either we expand the definition of advocate or we look for a different nomenclature. I, for one, think something like Senior Counsel of Nigeria, SCN, Senior Solicitor of Nigeria, SSN. But those are discussions that I'm sure by the time our communique is presented and a committee is set up to look into this, hopefully they would take into consideration. But Leonard Silk, do you have any thoughts without belaboring this point? Because you're in-house, I'll bet in government, but do you have any thoughts on this just in a few words so we can move on to other questions? Leonard Silk, Wendy Kukuma. Maybe she's no longer on the call. Okay. Okay. We'll move on to another question then, pending when she comes back on the call. So the next question is, well, is this really tied to the webinar? But let's take it anyway. To some of us who are trained and studied offshore, are there exemptions for practice in Nigeria? There are a lot of barriers here in England as opposed to what is obtainable in Nigeria. Racist and color do have a part it plays in England. Are there any exemptions? Leonard Silk, can you speak to this? I don't think so.
I'm not aware of any exception. If you go to
Yeah.
the UK, you have to go and do their bar. Go to the US, do their bar. If you come to Nigeria, you have to go to Nigerian law school before you can practice. The only thing I recollect is that when we were in school then, we had lecturers who were not called to the bar, Nigerian bar. They were lecturing. They were teaching us in school at that time. I don't know if it still happens, but I think they can lecture. I think they can lecture. From what was operating in those days, we have a lot of them, Indians, we have Americans in different in those days, taking those law courses, but they were not allowed to practice us.
Okay. So we'll take that as a response. Leonard Silk, Wendy Kuku, are you on the call, ma? The next question is for you. If you're on the call, kindly indicate.
Yes, I'm here. I can hear
Okay,
you.
ma. Okay, so the next question says, thank you, Leonard Silk, Mrs. Kuku, SAN. Thank you for your insights. How did you balance your quest for silk and its rigors with family obligations, motherhood, etc.? And I see a lot of reactions under that. It means that it's a problem for a a number of people on the call. Yes. Mhm.
Obviously, that's very important part. We can't take it away. Well, like I said, when I joined the commission, I wasn't married, and then I got married 2 years later, and then babies started coming. So I take my children to the office, and there was no facility for daycare. So I come with my babies, and then with house help, when it's time to breastfeed, we look for one corner, we breastfeed, and we are doing the work there. And at that point in time, if you recall, at that point in time, I wasn't really into litigation, like I said, in my early years. So most times I was doing administrative work in the office. So to say, the legal drafting, writing of opinions, contract agreements, and all of that. But as the cases started coming, I would say that I had a very, very understanding and cooperative spouse. So he knew that I was passionate about litigation. And so when it was time for me to leave these children and do what I had to do, that's all I can say, he was there for me, you know. And so it's not even then that you could say that you had family. No, I didn't have family members around me. I did not. It was either him or house help. And if it was not possible, I bundled them. Sometimes I used to take the children for trainings. So the extra cost will be from my purse, even if the office is handling the cost for me. But the other costs will be us. We have to bear it. I cannot say, oh, because of my children, I cannot go. No, I will carry them. If it means me to back themselves, I do that. And even during the trainings, they follow me into the hall. And it's really distracting, but it's something that you have to put in it, So that was how I was just able to balance it. Having a good spouse, a supportive spouse who really understands your passion and your drive, who appreciates it, and also you yourself. Don't let it be a barrier. Don't use it as an excuse. Oh, I've heard some women say, well, I'm stopping work, I'm making babies. Whenever I'm done, you come back. And before you know it, 5 years has passed and you are still where you are, dormant. You haven't improved. Meanwhile, sorry to say to the men are going, they are flying, they are going
Exactly.
there.
That's what it is. Yeah. Wow. I mean, that's it. That's really it. Thank you for that insight. That's really it. Honestly, I know that everybody's story can be different, but if you're single on this call and you're yet to make that commitment, please marry well. Marry somebody that is kind. Understand yourself. So not everybody's journey is the same, but you need to understand yourself. You need to understand your own drive. You need to understand your own passion. There's nothing wrong with stay-at-home moms. There's nothing wrong in people that want to walk a different path. But when you understand your own journey, your own path, it will inform everything else that you have to do. And you'll find that you don't know where that determination is going to come from. You don't know how you're doing what you're doing, but you're just going to do it because you understand that drive. That drive inside of you is not letting you stop. So when I used to pack the children, I can relate to everything that you're saying. My partner here can relate to everything that you're saying. I met my partner when she was almost 9 months pregnant and she was still on the move. When she just put to bed, she had just finished taking her exam exams. So like that, I can be on antenatal table, I'm pressing my phone, my doctor will say, this woman, do slow down. But it's just about understanding yourself and your drive. There's nothing wrong with you walking a different path, but if you understand what fuels you, then you just have to do everything that you have to do to make it work. And if you're not yet married, marry well, because it plays a huge role, or it has a huge impact on how you're going to be able to live out your purpose. Your spouse has a huge impact on that. So thank you so much, Ma, for that insight. And, just like Toyin said in the chat box, when the tough, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. So as we say, we move and we keep moving. Yeah, so where are we? Unlike the requirements that apply for lawyers in litigation, what were the requirements considered for silk in government establishments? I believe she's already spoken to this, but you can respond, Ma. Should I take it again? But I think you've spoken to this. Is there any difference in the criteria for lawyers in private practice and government and lawyers in government for taking the rank of silk? Is there any difference?
No difference. It's the same.
There's no difference.
But the category of advocate is the same. Yes.
Okay, Ma. Then we have another question to you, to the learned silk, Mrs. Kuku. I guess a lot of questions for you. Thank you for the insightful session. Regarding the qualifications for becoming Senior Advocate of Nigeria, we were informed during the webinar that having an office or being a partner in a law firm is a requirement. Could you clarify whether this requirement also applies to government lawyers? Should I take that again, Ma?
I think you're breaking here. I didn't hear God.
Okay, let me take it again. Can you hear me, Ma?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, it says, regarding the qualifications for becoming a Senior Advocate of Nigeria.
Oh my God.
Can you hear me, Ma? Can you hear me? Tony, can you hear me?
I can hear you now, but when you're saying the question, it's breaking, so I can't just hear. Or maybe I
Okay.
should go to the chat box and see what the question is.
Yes, possibly, Ma. The question from Ufoma Emevo.
On the 5th of April.
Oh, maybe I don't have it here.
Okay, but can you hear me? Should I read it out?
When I left, yes, I can hear you. Please read it out.
Okay. Regarding the qualifications for becoming a Senior Advocate of Nigeria, we were informed during the webinar that having an office or being a partner in a law firm is a requirement. Could you clarify whether this requirement also applies to government lawyers?
No, it doesn't apply to government lawyers. Yes, it doesn't apply to government lawyers.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Someone on the call needs to mute themselves, please. I'm not quite sure who this is. Please mute yourself. Admin, kindly go through the chat box and mute whoever needs to be muted, please. Okay. Someone says, I agree with Leonard Silk. Okay, someone says, I agree with Leonard Silk on his position as to advocacy. Let the commercial lawyers test a lot of cases in commercial law areas and apply for it. There are a lot of gray areas in commercial law that commercial lawyers can test. I agree with Leonard Silk. Okay. Someone says, would you mind assigning some of the questions to Chief Obegolu to answer in the absence of Mrs. Wendy Kuku? Okay. She's back though, but I don't know if Chief Obegolu is SAN is still on the call. Let me see. I think we're almost done with the questions. Frank. Okay.
But before the meeting of the branch, there will be a
please,
service
just
of
a moment.
in the honor of her dear deceased, about 2025. Please, I appeal to everyone, folks. Please, let us all mark our calendars and be there. Please, let us be there to lend her once. Let some sister.
I'm not quite sure where that meeting sound is coming from. I'm not quite sure, but I think we're practically almost done with the questions. Okay, Chief Obegolu is still on the call. So, Chief Dr. Obegolu, sir, can we put you on the spot? Can you please speak to us regarding regarding the question for, I don't know if you're still on the call, sir. The participants have requested to hear from you. I don't think he's still on the call. I think he's engaged. So for those who requested for him, we will bring him specially to speak to us. So don't worry, don't put him on the spot. He's a participant like you for the purpose of this webinar today. So we'll bring him and he will speak to you specially. So look out for the edition that will have him. And I think that's about it. Any other questions? Someone? So I think those are the questions.
Somebody has a hand up. Mojisola Ilupeju.
Okay, please unmute yourself, and that will be the final question so we can wrap up. We've overshot our time. Unmute yourself and ask your question. We're happy to take you.
All right. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I am Mojisola Ilupeju, and I am thrilled to be on this call, and I've really enjoyed the conversation. Now, I would tag myself an elderly junior, right? I studied English first and second degrees and decided, no, it is law I've always wanted. It's been this jam and admission issues, and 10 years thereafter, I went back to study law. Okay, I am about 4 years post-call, and I am aspiring either for the silk or the bench. I've not decided, but I'm looking at the aspect of age and all. Now, for those of us, I think I sent a message, but it wasn't read. Those of us who are elderly juniors, please lend us some words of advice. Please encourage us. We are going through a lot because people judge me based on my age. They expect that I should know so much, and I try to let them know I might be old on the face, but my experience as a lawyer is really zero or almost nothing. So please lend us some advice. We'll be grateful, and thank you so much, Leonard Silk. Great to meet you.
Same here. Is that for me?
No, ma, you have the floor. Apologies, Mojisola, for missing your question. I saw it. I was actually going to read it, but I guess I got carried away with the other questions that were there. So please, ma, we'll give you a shot to respond to that. And we'll also give Bamidele Ibironke SAN a shot to respond to that.
Contributing to the hosting of that training.
Leonard Silk, ma.
Okay. So I was saying, first of all, Moji, it's never, never, never too late. I know of someone who applied for the rank of senior advocate for 9 times. I know of someone who also got it at the 7th time. Now, first things first, you're not even, if we want to go through the qualification now, I don't think you're eligible yet, because you must have at least 10 years post-call before you start. So you have 6 years now. Let's say you have 6 years to plan for it. So even if at 5 years, assuming at 8 years, you have all your documentation, you're still not eligible. You've got to do 10 years post-call, be 10 years post-call first before you start. So Moji, there is nothing impossible in attaining this rank. All you need to do, these requirements I've told you now, age is just a number. Age is just a number. Make sure you're 10 years post-call, and before you are 10 years post-call, then you now start gathering all the things you need. That is just simple and straight.
Thank you, ma.
I am sorry, can I just add something? Please indulge me. Thank you. So I am preparing myself. I understand that I would have to be 10 years post call, but just like the Leonard Silk that previously spoke said, he was encouraged by an intern. So I'm looking at the end from the beginning, right? So I am preparing myself as for where I am going. I'm asking myself, what exactly am I pursuing with respect to my career as a lawyer? So I understand that I have to be 10 years, but I'm walking the step, taking the baby steps. So thank you so much. I've noted that. And I've noted everything that has been said. Thank you. I'm grateful.
If I may shed more light before Leonard Bamidele Ibironke speaks to her. So I think she's more seeking general guidance. I think, general guidance because she's law is her third degree. So she's not exactly young, but she's a young lawyer. And she faces these frustrations in the course of her work because people see her and think, okay, but you're senior now, so why are you behaving like a JJC? Something like that. I'm paraphrasing what she said. So, Mr. Ibironke, if you can give her some words of advice to encourage her and keep her on the right
Yeah, thank you. My learned friend Moji, well, it's an advantage that you actually have a first degree. In senior climes like the US, in Canada, you actually need a first degree before you can study law. So you have acquired, you are at a more advantageous position than somebody who just went for law. You read English, so it is assumed that you have good command of English language. You'll be able to write beautiful briefs and all those. So don't see all those are advantages in your favor, and they're not actually disadvantages. As per the limited experience that you have, experience can only be based on a number of years at the bar. But at 4 years too, if you have been going to court regularly and if you are determined, 4 years you should be proud of yourself. So you need to put in more effort. And as my learned friend Wendy, my brother sick Wendy said, it is never too late. It is when you say it is over that it's over. In my set when we were giving sick, the oldest among us was like 78 years. And I'm aware that about a few years ago, there was a man, there was a chief from Ibadan. He made sick at about 86. And I'm sure you're not that old. You're not that old at all. So we're looking forward to welcoming you to Inaba. So if you believe you can do it, you will surely achieve it. You get there. Nothing is impossible. Now that you have the hope of being there, I'm sure you will get there. Fortified with your English degree and all those, you can always be an example that everybody will be looking forward to in court. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And this so many other
And
comments.
sorry, if I may add,
Yes,
you
sir.
need a lot of hard work. When we were, at the bar at that time, when you assign a file, don't read your file. Go and read other files. Pick troubles with other files and cancel again. Don't do think we can do this way. Don't think we can do it this way. With that, you learn everything. Just don't concentrate on the file that is being given to you. If you have your own firm, go to your friends' offices, read their files, and all those. Before you know it, you are ahead of everybody. Especially when I was in Debo Akonde, that was what I used to do. I would take a file, I'll read, and I'll go and meet our principal. I said, sir, I think we should amend this. He said, why? I said, this is this. And before you knew it, he was giving me virtually all those cases to go and argue in court. And I was very, very young at the bar. So you have to challenge, you have to show that you can do it before people will give it, before they will give you the opportunity. If you do not say, here I am, nobody will say, there you are. So you must make effort and make yourself available. And don't be lazy. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, everyone. So I'll yield to my partner, Tonya Sada, to give us a quick recap and the vote of thanks. So from me, I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed panelists and our esteemed attendees. Thank you for coming to enrich us with your wealth of knowledge. To the attendees, thank you for showing up for yourself, and thank you for coming to draw from the insights of our panelists. Thank you so much, Leonard Silk. Bernard Silks. Toyin, I yield to you now, please.
All right. Thank you, Uchenna. Well done. Uche, thank you so much for moderating this session. Apologies for it's part of work-life balance for the noise behind. Thank you so much to our esteemed panelists, Leonard Silk Bamidele Ibironke and Leonard Silk, Mrs. Wendy Kuku. This has been an amazing session. In order to save time, I will just summarize a bit of what you shared to us. As for Leonard Silk Bamidele Ibironke, you said you must dream your law practice, and that's one of my biggest takeaways, because I find, and it's very validating for me, because I find myself, I'm in the restroom, I'm thinking about tomorrow's case or yesterday's case or everything, you know. It's just very encouraging to know that if you're really passionate about what you are doing, it doesn't just end in the office or on your laptop. You carry it with you wherever you go, and that shows your drive. And Mrs. Wendy Kuku, SAN, thank you so much for just making us understand that you can stand out. You can beat that stereotype. You can be that light, even when it looks like you can just do what you like. You can be that light, and definitely it pays off at the end. You know, thank you so much for even showing us how your work can even influence law reform. So you don't just be getting a paycheck, you are making impacts in the profession for better. Thank you so much to our esteemed panelists. It's been an insightful session. And we also want to say a very big thank you to all our attendees. In fact, we keep recording high turnouts, more and more with each session that we've had, and it's been very encouraging for us. It's been very encouraging for us, and thank you all so much. Have a lovely evening ahead. Apologies for the noise.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toyin. Thank you to everyone that joined. Thank you to all our friends.
Thank
Leonard
you.
Silk, thank you so much.
Thank you, Leonard Silk,
Thank
you.
Wendy Kuku. Thank you.
Thank you, Leonard
Thank
Brother Silk. Nice
you.
meeting
Very,
you.
very
Thank you.
insightful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leonard Brothers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fudge. Have you gone? Mr. Fudge is always joining. I think he has gone. Mr. Femi Fajolu, thank you. Joy, thank you. Random calling up, Mr. Femi Fajolu, thank you, sir, for always showing up, always supporting us, always giving us brilliant ideas. You're such an MVP. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you to everyone. Thank you, Foma. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Toyin. Thank you, Omodot. Thank you, Elihu. Thank you, Solomon. Ayomikun, thank you. Thank you, Ademola. Thank you for your questions and comments in the chat box. My madam is here. Oh, thank you, Mandia Sagba, past president of Ola. Thank you, Ma, for joining. Thank you for honoring us. And we hope it was insightful. Thank you, Emmanuel Obo.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Judith Ojopo. Thank you, Amarachi. Thank you, David, Kunle Bamidele, Bushra, Charles, Bulus, Atsen, Chidozie, Atoja, Mojisola, Precious, Mr. Fudge.
Yeah, thank you. Nice
Thank
one.
you,
Keep it
sir.
up.
Thanks
Keep
for
it
the
Thank
up.
you,
constant
Nice
sir.
support.
one.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank
Keep it
you.
up. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone. We'll be ending now. Thank you. Thank you. And look forward to seeing you next month at the next episode. Look out for the replay. We always share that at the end of the day. We always share the recap that has the recording. So look out for it. And if you found it insightful, share it with your friends and with your colleagues so that they can catch up on what we have benefited from. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Toyin. And that's it from me. Thank you.
Yes. Good night or good evening, everyone. Bye.